Okay, so this week I am looking at pieces of limestone from the Bangor Limestone, about 330 million years old. And this is a deposit from what is today the U.S. state of Alabama. Way back in the day was a shallow continental shelf, home to lots of different types of marine animals, including the bryozoans that are currently in focus here on the camera. I've got a few pieces of this that I'm going to be cycling through and taking photos of. If you're watching this live, you can go ahead and drop a comment in the chat and I'll respond. These can be any questions about basically anything, you know, if you're feeling up for it. Let's have a conversation about what's going on. And if you're watching the video afterwards, thank you for helping me rack up some watch hours, and I hope you enjoy the sights of a 330 million year old seafloor while I do some photography. And it's been a bit of a busy day. I'm only going to do 30 minutes, so I'm going to wrap up at 5 p.m. my time, and you can even see my time in the corner down there if you're curious as to when that is. And I'm also working on slow cooking a curry in the background, so I'm going to be up and out and about and multitasking as I usually do. But go ahead and drop a comment if you have any questions, or just let me know how your day's going, you know? And there are so many small little things to see in here. There's going to be a lot of pieces of crinoids. Crinoids are animals that are still around today. You can look up pictures of them. Although modern crinoids are more of the free-floating variety, and those that lived back in the Mississippian, which is the earlier half of the Pennsylvanian period, tend to be rooted on the seafloor, and this is just one piece of one such crinoid. I've got some intact crinoid calyxes to look at. This is just a fragment of one of them. And there's many different types of bryozoa. I'm reading a book on them right now, because they're certainly not a group I know a ton about. They're really, really bizarre. Bryozoa are also around today, so we know a little bit about their living biology, and, you know, we can only assume certain aspects of what their extinct ancestors were doing. Could be similar, could be quite different. So, I just wonder which variety this one belongs to. Identifying bryozoa has got to be one of the most difficult jobs. Especially if they're extinct. Get those little guys down there. So these are colonial animals, just like coral. And each of those little holes that you see are where one of the animals living in the larger skeleton, the polyp, would have actually lived. And they form these colonies with these larger structures. Isn't that cool? And they're so tiny. Very, very small. And this larger object you're seeing in the middle there, which is coming off as like a bluish purple. Let me see if I can change that color temperature. The thing with dissection scopes is that everything's going to come out a little bit odd one way or another. This is the largest animal you can see on this piece. It's called Composita. It's a brachiopod. So it's a shelled animal, a lot like a clam, but they're actually a different group altogether. The beak is down there at that point, and it's nestled right next to some bryozoa. Let me quick see what's on the other side of this. Not as much on this side. There's another piece of, two pieces of a crinoid right there. Okay, I'm going to swap this one out with another piece. This one's a rather small crinoid calyx, so I'm interested to see how it shows up. There we go. Check that out. That is beautiful. Looks like some more bryozoa in the corner there. Okay, let's try a third piece. Let's see what else we got. This one is a larger, much larger crinoid calyx, so we're only going to see pieces of it in view at a time. Wow, look at that. I just love, I've been finding little pieces of crinoids for a very long time. We have a deposit here in Arizona called the Naco Limestone, or the Naco Formation, that has tons and tons of pieces of crinoids, but getting to look at an intact calyx is a real treat. There's all these little pieces of, you could call them tentacles, I suppose, tentacle-like appendages coming out of the head here. With the exception of, exceptional conditions, I suppose, they tend to fall apart. And you find each of these individual pieces scattered everywhere. And it's really cool to see them all together like this. Here they taper out. Hi. Welcome back. Looking at crinoids.
Ooh, looks really good close up. Received a nice little surprise at work.
What's that?
Not specifically for me, Apparently there were a bunch of bagels left over from an event earlier, so
Nice.
sleeve of pumpkin bagels.
Pumpkin bagels. Is that even allowed?
I don't know. I haven't checked with HR yet.
Oh, focus in on this little thing right there. That's cool.
Whoa.
It's just funny to think about how profound the size differences are in all of these different organisms. Like I'm just looking at, this tiny little. I'm not even 100% sure what this is. This might be part of another crinoid arm. This might be one of the little cephalopods, although I'm not sure. But you've got all these just tiny little bits of very small animals. And then right next to it, comparatively, this colossal, I think this is Oklahoma crinus that I'm looking at right now, this colossal crinoid calyx, which itself is only about an inch wide at most, couple inches long, which is tiny and puny compared to me, the largest known organism to ever exist. It's just really cool. Life exists at so many different sizes. Let's flip it over and see what's on the other side. Let's go ahead and look at another crinoid calyx. We still got a little bit of time. It's not like I have a hard stop at 5. I just get tired. It's hard doing this at the end of the day on Mondays, you know? I'm going to swap this out with one more. And this is also a crinoid, but a different type. The little arms are made up of much smaller little segments. Looks like they articulate in a different way too. Some other little bits of bryozoan down there. Doesn't look half bad for a 330 million year old animal. Still fairly put together.
Look like little snake pieces. That's probably two of them.
Let's see. 330 million years ago, snakes were probably had at least probably at least 115 million years before they start appearing in the very earliest forms. So really, it's snakes look like crinoids. Your package arrived, by the way. Okay, I think that's about enough photography for today. I'm going to go ahead and shut this down, and I will be back the same time next week. I've still got other pieces to look at, so I might do more photography next week. I might be cleaning up some stuff from the Menifee. Who knows? Not me, and not until, frankly, like 30 minutes before I get started. So we will find out together next week.